Hello and welcome to the Monthly Marquee. I'm your host, Bart Lovins, Director for the Hardin County Schools Performing Arts Center. Our first guest, as usual, is our Pat Kid Spotlight. This is Eli Wilson. Thank you for joining me, man.
It's great to be here.
So we've been teasing you all morning that when I first worked with you, you were shorter than me, but not for very long.
Yeah, not for very long.
And it seems like you've been around forever, but it's really been a really short time that you've been doing stuff.
4 years.
And we're going to look at some footage of you from Sound of Music, which is your first show with us.
Yeah.
But before that, you'd only done one other show?
One other show, period, or at the PAC?
What, in general? You did
In
Tiny
general?
Tim.
No. I've been in numerous shows at Hardin County Playhouse.
Good. But Tiny Tim was your first thing?
That was my first role, yes.
Okay. No longer.
No longer.
No longer Tiny Tim, yes.
No.
So you said your mom was a big influence in getting you involved in
Absolutely.
theater. And at the time, it wasn't something you were really interested in.
Yeah, well, my entire family had always been a part of musical theater except for my dad. And, they just gave me that push and they were like, look, Tiny Tim is a role you can totally fulfill. I was like, oh, I don't know about that. But they convinced me, so I went in, I got it, and it was a great introduction.
And so why do you keep doing it?
It's just a way to just kind of let out what I love to do, because at home, when no one's home, you'll just hear me screaming, belting, and it's just great to get away where people will pay to watch you scream and belt.
Getting paid is good.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up another thing we talked about today is that there's a good portion of our students that become Pat Kid Spotlights that go on to pursue the arts, but there's also a great portion that do not.
Yeah.
And you kind of fall into the latter category. And one of the things that you mentioned about that was security.
Yeah.
So tell me just a little bit more your reasoning on that.
Well, jobs in the arts are a lot harder to come by and a lot harder to obtain than jobs in the medical field or in the law field. So I'm kind of a fan of stability because I think it's just nice to know that, okay, once I get out of school, I'm definitely going to have a job. I'm going to be able to sustain myself.
What's one of your favorite experiences you've had so far performing?
Probably last year with Hunchback. I really liked the music and the cast was a lot of fun, a lot of talented people. And I don't know, the show itself just felt more grand than anything I've ever done, and I really enjoyed that.
It was big. It was big, yeah. If you were, if someone's watching, let's back up a second. You have come from being a small kid to being a young man in theater, and you're getting ready to do a very large role for you.
Yeah.
In Mamma Mia, playing the young romantic lead. What's it like for you when you get to do these shows with people that are just getting their feet wet?
I think it's a lot of fun to watch people develop into what they're doing, and it's fun because you kind of get to watch them and you're kind of reliving what you've already been through, which was already a great experience when you got to do it. So it's just a lot of fun to watch them as they develop in that.
Well, and I've seen you also take on kind of a leadership role with some of the younger people.
Well, not intentionally. I guess that's just what I do.
It's just what you do.
I guess so.
Well, and what are you looking for as far as college? You're only a sophomore, so you got some time.
I mean,
We're not going to hold this, video for ransom and say, no, you have to do this.
You got to go there.
Yeah.
Well, right now, I don't know for sure. It all, depends on your test scores and your grades. But in state, I'd like to go to U of L. And out of state, I like Florida State. It's got a great medical school, and I like the location, I like the weather.
Yeah.
I don't like the cold very much.
I know. I'm right there with you. And radiology, you're thinking right
yes.
now. And why that field of medicine? Money.
Yeah.
Money.
It pays really well.
It's a through line here.
Yeah. It pays really well, and the liability isn't really an issue in that job. So if you're an anesthesiologist, then you've got a lot of liability. Say someone isn't knocked out properly during surgery, then you get sued.
Yeah.
There's just not much reason to get sued in that job. So.
Very cool. You sound like you have a very level head on your shoulders. Where does that come from?
My dad.
Okay.
Pretty realistic.
Good answer since he's sitting over there.
Yep.
That would be very smart. Very smart. And how if theater is not what you see in your future down the road. It definitely not as a career, maybe not as a hobby, depending upon the busyness of your career. Why do you continue to pursue it? What do you get out of it? How do you think it helps you?
I just think
you seem very level-headed, and you seem very goal-oriented, and you seem like, I'm doing this because it's going to lead to this.
Yes.
Point A to point B to point C. So why theater doesn't seem to be in that?
Yeah.
So you must be getting something.
It's just one of those things, you know. I need a little unpredictability in my life.
Well, that is true.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun for me. I need to have a little fun, and it's a good time consumer because what else am I doing with my time?
Well, it can keep you out of trouble. That's
yeah,
great.
sure.
Yeah. And how do you think it's helped you?
I've become a lot more charismatic, better with my words, whether that be from acting or just talking with a lot of friendly people, and working with a lot of talented, friendly people.
And we were talking earlier as well. In your profession, you will have to speak to people about test results, and there's a certain amount of performance in that. In a way.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be frank, but at the same time, you can't be too overly emotional because that might encourage more.
The scale.
That might encourage more emotion from the patient. So, and at the same time, you can't be too happy. You have to be somber at the same time as being serious. So, you just really need to find a way to balance your emotions, which is, what you do on stage.
Exactly. What do you do? I'm thinking about, as you're saying this about test results and stuff, and I'm thinking about The Hunchback. I think through performance, because we have to become these other characters, we learn how to have empathy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's a big part in the medical profession as well.
Yeah, because you connect with those other characters. So say someone dies and you're in the ensemble, you have to feel for that character, act sad, so the audience knows, oh, you're not fake, you're a character.
Yeah. And but by the same token, you have to have that balance, because if you're a weeping mess, you can't sing. The drainage and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, Eli, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure to have you here this morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're now going to watch some old footage of Eli, starting with Sound of Music, his first show at the Performing Arts Center when he was nine, right?
No. That my first performance was when I was 9. My first performance at the PAC, I guess I was 11.
11, okay, all right. Sound of Music when he was 11, and then some from Little Mermaid, where he was puppeteer, singer, and dancer in The Little Mermaid. And, of course, come see Eli in Mamma Mia this next month at the PAC.
I'm Friedrich. I'm 14. I'm a boy.
A boy? Why, you're almost a man!
Heart wants to beat like the wings of the birds that rise from a lake to the trees.
Our next guest on the monthly Marquee is Miss Kelsey Hall with the Historic State Theater. Kelsey, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So we were just getting set up beforehand to talk about what's coming up, and then we dovetailed into the past things that you've been up to since the last time we talked to you. Been very involved with the Second Saturday's Cruise in the Heartland. What other things have you been doing this summer?
Yes, so we had a comedian, Alex Raimundo, at the theater. So it was an R-rated show, something a little bit different for the theater, but it went over really well.
I remember you and I talking about that last month, and that it was pushing the envelope a little bit. How was your turnout?
It was really good. We sold out the floor.
Cool.
So, yeah.
And no elementary school students?
No elementary school
good.
students.
It's all good?
Yep, it was 21 and up. It was sponsored by Number One Tequila, so...
Yeah, you don't want elementary school. No,
Yeah.
no.
Yep.
Those are my problems. Those are not your problems.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
so
good.
it was good downtown event.
Very cool. And what did you do with Second Saturdays last month?
For Second Saturday, we showed the Lego Batman movie.
Oh, that's a fun one.
And it was sponsored by Impellizzeri's Pizza, so they served pizza slices down at the theater.
Well, if I'd known
those
that,
were both on the same
I
day.
knew that it was those two combined, I would have been there.
Yes.
I love
so
both of
on the
those.
same day. It was a real busy day, but it was a great day for us.
And when you do those showings, you just do one showing of the movie or several?
That time we only had time to do one showing of the movie, but typically we'll do 3. They'll be at 1, 4, and 7,
1, 4, and 7.
unless noted
I
otherwise.
need to remember that because I'll be honest, I've not come down and seen a movie at the State Theater since it's been reopened, and I
Really?
need to get down and do that. Well, we get so stuck in our own 4 walls doing stuff. So.
Yeah, well, second Saturday is a great time to do it. The movies are always $1.
Cool. And now we had John Anderson in. We were just getting ready to talk about him. Now, that's a name I know.
Yes.
And probably anyone younger than me does not.
I had to look him up, not gonna lie. But it was a great show as well. It sold out. So
Wonderful.
City Concert Series, sponsored by Fort Knox Federal Credit Union, is on a roll this year.
They really, really are. And what was the first in that series? Was Winona the first in that series? Or?
For this year, it was Travis Tritt.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So Winona was last year.
Cool. Anything exciting on the city circuit for next year that you can hint at?
We have not. Well, I'm not even part of the city.
Sure.
Sarah Vaughn, the events coordinator,
Yes.
hasn't really started looking yet.
Okay.
But we have started talking about, maybe some artists to look
Possibilities.
into. So I would expect some exciting things probably in the next
Very
few
cool.
months.
Well, speaking of what's down the road, what's going on this next month at the state?
Yes, so on Saturday the 18th, we are having a Grease sing-along. So a lot of people are really excited about that. Props will be provided, words on the screen, costumes encouraged.
Oh my Lord.
Brian Walker with Quixie will be the MC. So it's going to be a great time. It's family friendly. So that'll be at 7
As
p.m.
family friendly as Greece is.
Well,
Yes.
so the words on the screen are clean.
So
so
that's
it
good
is-
to know.
it is
I'm glad we
family-friendly.
talked about that.
Yes.
Because we have done the show twice at our space. I've directed it also at Stephen Foster, and people get very incensed to
Yes.
hear these words on stage and those are the words that are in the movie.
Yes. Yes. So technically, the audio and the movie itself are the original, but the words that are displayed on the screen are clean.
That's really
So
good to
your
know.
children won't read anything that's innuendo, anything inappropriate. So
That's wonderful.
It's really
oh my gosh, I had
exciting.
no idea. I'm so glad we
Yes.
covered that. That's great. What else is going on?
and then on the 24th, Friday night, we have the next concert series concert. Rodney Atkins, country singer.
Very cool.
So a little bit younger demographic, newer country. So something exciting, kind of switching it up just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the next day is Heartland Parade, and afterwards we'll be having our 3rd annual Heartland Urban Marketplace in the parking lot. So we'll have some art and craft vendors, maybe a couple independent consultants for some companies, and then food trucks.
Oh, cool. Now, is it too late for vendors to sign up for that?
It is not. They
How
can
do they
sign
do
up
that?
on our website.
Okay.
There's also a link on Facebook. It's a Google Doc, so real easy to fill out, and we'll get in contact with them.
And what kind of things can people who are coming expect?
We have like essential oils, I think candles, some wood items. We have Juanito's Tacos, Kentucky Barbecue Company, Two Chicks Cookin', Junior's Firehouse Barbecue. We have ice cream.
Is this indoor or
all
outdoor?
kinds of things. It is outdoor.
It is outdoor. Outdoor in your parking lot.
Outdoor in the parking lot from 11 to 4.
Cool. Thank you, Kelsey. So much.
Thank you.
So much always going on, and I know the summer is light for you guys, but this is you just feel it gearing up.
Yep.
From what
Gearing
you
up
shared
for
already.
the holiday seasons.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Carrie Lewis representing the Hardin County Playhouse. Now, not dead,
Not dead.
forgotten,
Not dead, just a little bit unplugged, but not dead.
unplugged. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good way of
So,
putting it.
yeah.
So, where are things with the Playhouse right now?
Right now, we're still in the process of moving the theater out of Plum Alley and moving it to storage. We do have some nice, hopeful options looking at in the future. We will be doing the Ghost Walk in October, as we typically do, and we are collaborating with Central Hardin High School on a production of The Crucible in March. So those things we're working on. We also have Shakespeare in the Park next summer in Radcliffe.
Okay. So you have 3 projects. You have no home, but 3 projects.
That's right. We're gonna be mobile. We're gonna
Yeah.
be like a food truck. of
Oh, I think
drama.
that's a great analogy. Absolutely. And there's a certain freedom and liberty to that as well.
Right, right. So we still want to be very much in the community. We still believe in the mission of the arts in the community, and we've just been around too long, and we've been too successful just to allow it dissipate. So we do have some hopeful news for a new space that we hopefully will be able to announce sometime within the next 30 days. And that will give us a place to be and a place to work from. So we will very much be in the community, and we're still trying to raise funds for a permanent home so that community theater can continue long after we have gone.
Well, let's touch on a few of the things that you've mentioned and just kind of work through the timeline of things
Okay.
right now. And I was telling you before we went on air, I thought you were already moved out of the space at the Historic State Theater. You are actually still taking care of loading things and getting
Right,
things moved
right.
out and stuff. Do you need help with that?
We could always use help. We've been working every Saturday around 10 to at least 2, sometimes longer. Been very short on volunteers and people that can help lift and move and stuff like that. So yeah, if anybody wants to volunteer, check us out on Facebook or give me a call. I'm at Sign Makers pretty much all the other time that I'm not at the Playhouse, and or just come by on a Saturday morning. We've actually had folks come by thinking that there was an upcoming production, wanting to audition from other areas.
Sure.
So it was kind of sad to tell them, no, we don't have anything that's right on the books right now, but keep following us, and hopefully we'll be having auditions soon for something. So.
Well, and speaking of which, it sounds like the first thing you have going into the next season, it's not really a season, so to say, as it is planned events, is the Ghost Walk. And fill people in who may not be familiar with that.
We've been doing that for several years, and we've actually won a Kentucky Living Award for the best Ghost Walk in the state.
So there are other Ghost Walks?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yes, I guess it's a big thing.
And what is a Ghost Walk?
Well, what we do is we take people on a tour of the downtown area, the different historic places that probably have some mysterious happenings, some unexplained deaths, certain paranormal events that lead folks to believe that there are spirits, spooks, and other things lurking about. So we create characters with the real stories of those places and events. And people just walk around downtown, and we, kind of creep them out just a little bit. So,
and when is
fun.
that?
We're going to have it on the second Saturday of October and the last Saturday in October, which I think is the 27th.
Cool. And if people are interested in helping out with that, what do they need to do?
They need to just follow, message us
Again,
through
your Facebook.
Facebook or the website.
Facebook.
Right. Yeah, that's
And,
probably the best
and
way
what's
right
your title on Facebook?
The Hardin County Playhouse.
Hardin County Playhouse Facebook page.
Right.
And then you're collaborating with Central Hardin on a production of The Crucible.
The Crucible.
And that'll be in March, you said?
In March, yes.
And that will have an audition, and I know some of the details of that are still being ironed out, the where and when of all of that.
Right.
But just explain a little bit how that collaboration is working with Central Hardin.
Well, Sarah Dakin, who is a teacher at Central and works with the drama program there, she's also done a lot of things at HCP as far as an actor and as well as direct, and she's done a great and wonderful job there. So she wants to use some of her students in the younger parts of this play and use some of the adults from HCP and make a show that we can kind of.
Well, and it's a really unique experience for the students as well. You think of a high school drama, and you think of, this is the high school play, and there's a 15-year-old playing a 50-year-old, and you put, talcum powder in his hair,
Right.
and you draw lines on his face, and we all just go, okay, well, we'll suspension of disbelief. But the idea and the premise is this is all about the Salem witch trials, and where the teenage girls of this community started fabricating all of these tales that these adults were witches. And so the teenage girls will be played by teenage girls, and the adults in the community will be played by adults in our community.
Right.
So it's a wonderful pulling together of not only the students' work, but the work of Hardin County Playhouse. And because of Sarah's work with both organizations, there's already that connected tissue between the two.
Exactly. And, all of us here are interested in the arts and bringing it to the public and the community, because it is something that needs to be done. It needs to exist, especially in this community, because we should have it. We are progressive enough that we should have that sort of an outreach.
Well, and that brings up the next thing. If people don't want to tote boxes from the theater to the moving truck on Saturdays, and they're not interested in auditioning for the Ghost Walk or for the Crucible, but they want to help. How may they help?
Prayers are always good,
Sure.
but money's better.
Money, yes, yeah.
Money's better. Yes, we do have an escrow account set up at the Sicilian Bank for donations and for folks who want to help us find a permanent home, because that is our end goal, is to find a permanent home that we can raise funds for, pay off, and community theater can exist without fear of getting a lease canceled or eviction or any of those things. So that's the end goal. So it may take us a year or two to get there, but every little bit helps. And that's the way we've always done community theater. You know, if you don't have a lot, but you have a little, bring it to the table, and it's amazing what everybody's little bit works out to be.
Sure. So how can they make these donations?
They can find us on Facebook. They can mail it in. We have a P.O. box now, since we will be losing our permanent address, and all that will be listed on the Facebook page or our website.
Okay. And the website again is?
HardinCountyPlayhouse.com.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Carrie, thank you so much for being
Thank
with
you.
us, and
Always
keep
thank
us up to date.
I sure will. Thank you.
Our next guest is Miss Carmen Caldera-Bratska. Did I get even close?
Yes.
Carmen Caldera-Bratska with TK Stone and the E-Town Performing Arts Center. So, TK Stone and the E-Town Performing Arts Center.
Yes.
School started, we're taping Thursday. It started yesterday.
Yes.
So you guys are in the throes of your new season.
Yes, we are.
And as you were telling me before we started filming today, you already have your first production.
We do.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. 3 performances.
How is that even possible?
Well, we have very devoted young student actors who were willing to give up several hours of their summer to come to the EPAC and rehearse a skit that was written by Mr. Tim Dennis. He writes the plays for the Morningside Elementary Drama Club, and so once I knew what we wanted for this production, I approached him, and he was happy to write it. And so yeah, we will have 3 performances tomorrow for the different grade levels at TK Stone Middle School. And of course, the EPAC serves all the schools in the district. We just happen to be attached to TK Stone Middle School. But
I understand that philosophy
exactly,
perfectly. Yes.
Exactly. So yes, we will have 3 productions, or 3 performances of that tomorrow. Last rehearsal today. It's been a crunch, because, you know, they have vacations, they have their other summer things, and then the EPAC had our 3 summer workshops. So the last couple of weeks have been a real intense rehearsal period.
Well, and explain just a little bit, because you and I are both coming at performing arts from an educational standpoint and using it across the curriculum and for the purposes of our school districts.
Right.
So what is the purpose behind this skit on Friday, the event and all of that? Because I think I think it's easy for our viewers to go, oh, okay, well, that's about, that plays Greek, so that has to do with history and mythology, and so I see the curriculum tie-ins there.
Right.
But what you're doing on Friday is just a little bit different, but just as valuable.
Yes, yes. It's called Let Your Conscience Be Your Guide. And it addresses a lot of the things that students deal with in middle school that maybe they haven't dealt with when they were younger, or they didn't know how to deal with it. Or they didn't know how to talk about it. And rather than lecture to them about, you need to do this, we asked Mr. Dennis to come up with a skit that addresses things like bullying, accepting the differences in others and celebrating what they have to bring to the table. Seeing that sometimes people are just having a bad day, it doesn't make them a bad person or a bully, or and teaching compassion. It's kind of dealing with
Empathy.
Yes.
In a lot of
yes,
ways.
a lot of empathy. So just kind of addressing those things in a way that will reach them better than just lecturing about it. Because that's what the arts do. That's especially what theater does.
Exactly, and you know, it's just like here we are talking. You know, you could have the principal stand on the stage and point to a PowerPoint slide and go, "We need to be more empathetic with people,"
Right.
And they go,
yeah.
But
What's
if
that
you're
mean?
showing them how to be empathetic,
Right.
how to understand other cultures, other people, other students from other different economic backgrounds,
Yes.
then they can model the behavior of the characters in the
Exactly.
skit.
or not.
Or
If
not.
they're,
Right.
Yes, because some of these are not the people that you want them to be, and they see the difference. And I think that's a big thing, because it's one thing to say something, but then when you see somebody else say what you were about to say or what you were thinking, you go, ooh, no, don't want to do that.
Yes, I keep that to myself.
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that, and I think that's one of the things with both of our facilities that sometimes people in the community are not aware, that these spaces
Yes.
are primarily educational spaces.
Yes.
But they are available as community centers as well. And we often rent our spaces. I don't know if you guys rent or not.
We do. We have some rentals on the calendar.
And that may not be educational in purpose,
Right.
but that they serve a greater need for the community. So what can you tell us about your space? And if someone is watching this right now and went, oh, I would love to hold our next so-and-so meeting
Right.
somewhere.
Right.
So what's involved with that process for you guys?
Well, the first thing to do is to contact me at the Elizabethtown Performing Arts Center, so we can talk about what your needs are and if it's a good fit. I'm happy to give tours. We had someone come over the summer and tour to see if it was a good space for them. And then if the date's available, then you would contact Denise at our central office and talk about the contract.
Gotcha.
And she handles all of that and the insurance requirements and, all that
We
fun of
love
renting a
her.
space.
We love her, yes.
Yes, all the fun stuff that goes with renting the space. And then from there, you come back to me and we deal with actually what you need.
And how far in advance should people contact you?
As soon as humanly possible,
Yeah,
because our weekends...
We book up about 1.5 years in advance.
We're
during
not,
busy times.
Right.
Now Mondays are pretty easy to grab here and there.
Right.
But if you want a weekend or a Friday night, we're 1.5 years in advance.
See, and we're kind of the opposite. Most of our things happen during the week, and most of our weekends are free.
Well, see, that's good. So
Exactly.
if you know that much already when your date is, that
Yes.
could help determine which space is better for you.
Exactly. And our spaces are so different. There are a lot of things you have that we don't, but we're a more intimate space, so
Yep.
sometimes that's better. And that's what I love about Hardin County is, whatever you need, we already have it. You
Yes.
just need to figure out which one is going to work for you. But we seat about 550. It's all one level. We don't have a balcony. We have pretty much anything you need in that space for, PowerPoint presentations, film. We can record. We've got, all the sound and lights.
Anything else that we haven't touched on yet?
I don't think so. I'll be back next month with hopefully more actual dates and
Sure.
events. But right now we've really got
Gearing
to
up.
gear up and attack the fundraising because we still have some major upgrades that
So
are
if
priorities.
people are interested in renting or helping with fundraising, how do they get a hold of you?
You can call the Elizabethtown Performing Arts Center. We go through TK, so it will answer TK Stone Middle School, and then they will transfer you.
Understood.
Or an even easier way is to go to the Facebook page and send a message,
It's
and
all
then
about
I can
Facebook
call you.
today. I hear
Yes.
it from everybody.
Yes, yeah.
And how are you listed on Facebook?
Elizabethtown Performing Arts Center.
Very good. Carmen, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. Well, folks, that is going to wrap up another month of the Monthly Marquee. Until next month, I'm your host, Bart Levins, Director for Hardin County Schools Performing Arts Center. Thanks for watching.